distinguished bankers on the dais, Mr. Ajay Banerjee, Chief General Manager, Bank of Maharashtra, Mr. Amit Kumar, Senior Executive Vice President, HDFC Bank, Mr. Ramana Murthy, Executive Director, Royal Bank of Scotland, Mr. Rajiv Manyar, VP, New Initiatives, HDFC Asset Management Company, Mr. Bhaskar Babu, CEO, Suryodaya Microfinance Private Limited, Dean Academics of Symbiosis International University, Dr. Anil Keskar, fellow directors of the constituent units of SIU, bankers in the audience, representatives from Mint, Colonel Atoli, members of the faculty, our alumni, I can see some of our alumni here, our alumni and dear students. I'm immensely pleased to welcome you all to this seminar on the Banking and Financial Services Sector in India, Vision 2020. The objective of this seminar is to have leaders and opinion makers, just as we have here today, to give us insights into the challenges that this sector is likely to face in the next 5 to 6 years, and also talk about the opportunities that may open out to the sector. Our banking system is acknowledged to be systemically sound and resilient. Our banks have demonstrated this resilience and weathered the storm that had destroyed a number of banks in the West. Prudent regulatory overseeing by RBI has successfully steered Indian banks towards robust health and performance even during trying times. However, the prevailing interest rate environment and the slowing growth in the recent past have now given rise to a disquieting phase that requires adept management. Looking back, we see that the last decade had ended on an optimistic note, and the projections for the next decade is also very encouraging. In its report published in August 2011 by IBA, BCG and FICCI, the Indian banking industry is projected to be the world's 7th largest by 2015, 5th largest by 2020, and 3rd largest by 2025 in terms of the total value of assets held at the then rate of growth of GDP. When we talk about Vision 2020 for the banking and financial services sector, it is only natural that we refer to India Vision 2020. The S.P. Gupta Committee report on India Vision 2020, published in 2002 by the Planning Commission, envisages a number of developments, some of which are being discussed now, will require significant banking interventions. India Vision 2020 envisages improving the ranking of India from the present 11th position to the 4th position among the 207 countries in the World Development Report in terms of the gross domestic product. It also envisages moving the country from a low-income nation to an upper-middle-income nation. To achieve this objective, India Vision 2020 aims at an annual growth in GDP of 8.5% to 9% during the period 2001 to 2020. The average annual rate of growth of GDP from 2001 to 2011 was 7.3%, and currently it is hovering around 6%. In this context of slowing down, the aspiration to rise to the 4th position seems ambitious and would call for considerable investments in infrastructure. India Vision 2020 sees a nation of 1.3 billion people who are better educated, healthier, and more prosperous. Urban India then had 28% of population, and this was projected to grow at 40% to 2020. With this shift to urban India, it was estimated that only 40% of the population would be engaged in agricultural sector, as against the 67% in the year 2000. India Vision 2020 also projected that the share of agriculture in the GDP will come down to 6% from 28%. The point to be noted is that the shift in the demographic profile and the composition of GDP are significant for strategy planners in the banking sector. India Vision 2020 envisages that the small and medium enterprises sector would emerge as a significant contributor to GDP, national output, and employment generation of the country. The sector has lived up to the expectations so far. Currently, it contributes to 17% of the GDP, 40% of exports, 45% of industrial output, and creates 1.3 million jobs. Through their remarkable contributions towards employment generation, national outputs and exports, they now stake a claim for a more conducive environment, such as a comprehensive package of venture capital, credit, training and technology. The ability of a financial system to make available to the potential investors various avenues for investment in the forms and tenors that fulfill their requirements will impact the investment climate of the country. As per the report, Indian Mutual Funds Industry by KPMG and CII, India has been among the fastest growing markets for mutual funds since 2004, witnessing a compounded annual growth rate of 29% in the 5-year period 2004 to 8, as against a global average of 4%. However, due to the developments triggered by the global economic crisis, the industry has been witnessing a fall in the assets under management, and this is impacting the revenue and the profitability. From a compliance perspective, banks will be working to converge with the international financial reporting standards, and that will require banks to upgrade infrastructure, including information technology, and also recruit trained human resources. Banks will also be gearing up to raise additional capital to support higher growth and to comply with Basel III stipulations. This would require banks to use innovative and attractive market-based funding channels, especially when capital continues to remain expensive and the government support may be constrained by fiscal considerations. At a time where financial inclusion is in the center of the regulatory landscape, the last mile connectivity provided by the microfinance institutions seemed to be a panacea, only to be maligned due to the unscrupulous ways of some players. About 41% of India's adult population is still unbanked, an opportunity as also a challenge to be addressed by banks and microfinance institutions. While the economic environment will be the same for public sector banks, private sector banks, NBFCs and foreign banks, this very categorization may pose different challenges and opportunities that are specific to that particular category. It would indeed be interesting to hear from the proverbial horse's mouth about what we can expect the banking sector to be in 2020. Will we be able to repeat the success story of the previous decade and live up to the expectations of the vision reports that we have been reading? Will we see any Indian bank rising up to be a global player? Will microfinance institutions be able to identify their unique role in the financial system and put in place robust governance standards to balance the dual objectives of inclusion and financial sustainability? Where is the mutual fund industry headed to? Given the huge manpower requirement, what may be required of a new age banker in terms of training? To discuss all this and more, I'm happy that we have with us a very august panel of speakers. Gentlemen, we are privileged to have you all with us this evening. I once again welcome you all and look forward to an enriching and enlightening discussion. Thank you.